So how's it going, Saints fans? Welcome back to Talk Saints. This is my review of the 0-0 home draw to West Ham United last night. Disappointing result, effectively against 9 men. Team news, well, as we know, Matt Targett was out with concussion, so Yoshida came back into left back. He played there really well against QPR. And Harrison Reed came in for James Ward-Prowse into defensive midfield with Stephen Davis in the more advanced role. Good move, I think, that from Koeman, because once again Harrison Reed was immense last night. And James Ward-Prowse, I don't know how many successive starts he had. He probably had about a good number of successive starts, or a good number of successive appearances anyway, so he deserved a rest, to be honest. The first 10 minutes we really went into the game and started strong. Mane once again looking to run in behind and being found a good number of times. Our first big effort of the game came through a great passing move from Sanchez. I think it was Klein that played it into Stephen Davis, who played a lovely ball through to Mane. And for me, like he did at QPR on a few occasions, especially when he was in the box against Clint Hill and took an extra touch when really he could have just took a touch and struck it. In this instance, he took 4 touches and then tried to... He did, to be fair, get it under Adrian. And Elliot just missed it, and was it Cresswell, I think, that managed to clear it, or Jenkinson, sorry, that managed to clear it away. That was really our biggest chance of the game, to be honest. West Ham offered nothing all game. I think they had about 37-38% possession for the whole game. They offered very little. The only massive chance they had was I think it was an Amalfitano shot that was headed away from Stephen Davis. I wouldn't be surprised if he had a headache this morning from that, because it was a very, very powerful shot, so he did very well to clear that away. But apart from that, it was a game of, once again, very limited chances. Sadio Mane had a good chance, good link up with Elia to Pella, who did a lovely little back heel to Mane, who couldn't quite get enough bend on it. Which is unfortunate, because once again we really didn't create enough this game, and it is getting quite worrying now that this is the, I think it's second home game in a row we haven't scored. I can't remember the previous home game before Palace in terms of Premier League home games, but that was the last time we scored at home in all competitions within the FA Cup. So a little bit worrying going into Liverpool of all games, who are on top form at the moment, and Balotelli's scoring. It's going to be a difficult game, that. But once again, Elia didn't really have the impact he's had in the past few games. Was subbed off in the second half for Tadic, and really the second half was, to be honest, West Ham for the whole game came for a point. They didn't come to play football. They didn't come for the 3 points. They wanted to draw this game, and and they got what they wanted out of it. So Tadic came on to try and create something. Jurisic came on for his debut, looked decent. Of course, Adrian got sent off through handling outside his area. I don't know what he was thinking, really. He took an extra touch when, of Sadio Mane of all people is coming towards you, you don't take an extra touch, you just clear that ball. So he took an extra touch. To be honest, Adrian had to go through Mane to get that ball. I know Mane's first instance, which fair play to him, wasn't to go down like a lot of players would have done, but to stay on his feet and try and get the ball. But if he'd have gone down, he'd probably have won a penalty. But Adrian, rightly so, got sent off. So Yaskalainen had to go in goal. And once again, he had a great performance. 2 or 3 great saves toward the end of the second half. But once again, too many times we just fiddled about with it on the edge of the box until getting our laces through it. Very reminiscent of last season for me. It was a great ball. It might have been from Jurisic, if not Stephen Davis, over to Tadic toward the end of the game, who was in absolutely acres of space. And all he had to do was take a touch and hit it, and it was going to be on target, and he was going to test Yaskalainen. But no, he fiddled about with it, and then just the shot never came. And it was a case of frustration all night for us, especially when Andy Carroll came on, and then aggravated injury. I think it's a knee injury that he's got now. So effectively we were playing against 9 men for the last I don't know, 15 minutes of the game, which meant the West Ham part 2 banks of 4, or in fact Alex Song slipped back from defensive midfield into centre half, so they were playing a 5 at the back. Graziano had a few chances. Everyone's slating Graziano again, which I don't agree with. He's yes, he's been off the boil, but that's partly, if you've also noticed, Tadic hasn't been at his best. And that's probably just the fact that they've come from a European league. They're not used to not having a Christmas break. I think pretty much every single European league outside of the UK has a Christmas break, and we don't have it. So they've got to try and acclimatise to that. But yet again, Pella had very little chances. And for me, that's because the crossing wasn't there. For me, Kleiny hasn't got forward enough in the last couple of games, and we've really missed the quality of crossing from Bertrand. Yoshida had 2 crosses all game, and they were both overhit. There was only one time that Pella could attack a header into the box, and that was a diving header, which was cleared, which Kayute got a touch on anyway. It was going wide in the first place, but still, he had very little to try and attack all game. But his link-up play was good. His aerial battles, he only won 1 of 8 in the first half. But once again, people are saying that we should have signed a striker. I sort of agree, but then again, there's no point in buying a player that's just going to be a fill-in for a couple of weeks. Because I think, when you look at it for the Liverpool game, we're going to be back to full squad pretty much. I think I've heard that Bertrand's suspension isn't 2 games, it's 3 games. But Matt Targett will be back. We'll have, I wouldn't be surprised if we'll have Alderweireld and Fonte at the centre halves with Kleiny. And hopefully Schneiderlin should be fit, which means we'll have Schneiderlin and Wanyama as our 2 holding midfielders. For me, out on the wings, I wouldn't be surprised if Tadic gets started in place of Elia, because Elia had started out brilliant, but since the Newcastle game he's had limited effect. He's been alright, but he's not been great. So for me, I'd probably start with Tadic. Well, for me, I wouldn't start Tadic out wide. I'll say it again, I'll say it in every video until he is put in the central position. He needs to play as an attacking midfielder. He needs to be central. He is wasted out on the wing. He hasn't got the pace to play out on the wing. Right, that's over with. Elia shouldn't start for me in the next game. Tadic should be on the wing, even though I don't want him to be. Mane on the other wing, and there's a possibility, possibly, that Shane Long might be fit. We'll have to see though. So yeah, that's my review for Saints 0, West Ham 0. Very frustrating result. But look on the bright side, we're still top 4 and we didn't lose. You've got to look on the bright side. So thanks so much for watching. Please do leave a like rating on the video if you enjoyed. Also subscribe to Talk Saints if you are a Saints fan new around here. Also follow Talk Saints on Twitter. More giveaways to come, I'm sure. And until the next video, we will see you next time. Thanks very much for watching.